Have you been looking for a Photoshop text effect that is both easy and eye-catching? Well, look no further. I'm Ashley Harrell, and in this tutorial, I will show you how to use smart objects and layer styles to create a 3D retro glowing text effect. But before we begin, make sure you check out Envato Elements. Get unlimited downloads of design assets, templates, and fonts like the one used in this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to Envato Tuts Plus for more free courses and tutorials. The first thing you want to do is create a new document that is 1600 by 1200 with a 72 resolution. Create a solid color fill layer and fill it with 24292E. Double-click this layer and let's add a gradient overlay. Change the blend mode to linear burn. The opacity should be 20%, and for the gradient, set the first color to white. And then the second color will be AB, AB, AB. Change the scale to 150%, and the style should be radial, and click OK. Now we will place the metal texture. Resize it so that it covers the entire background. Change this layer to soft light with the opacity of 40%. Now grab your type tool and type out your word. And make sure the font size is 400 and the tracking is 100. The font color I am using is E8A505. Rename this layer to text and right-click, convert to smart object. Now we are going to duplicate this layer and make this top layer invisible. Now open up your Actions panel. Create a new set and name it Extrusion, and click OK. Create a new action and name it Action, and click on Record. Duplicate the text copy layer. Press Command-T or Edit Free Transform and hit the down arrow key twice and the right arrow key twice as well. And now click the Stop Recording icon at the bottom of the Actions panel. Now click the Play selection at the bottom of the Actions panel 10 times so that we will create 10 more copies of this layer. Now select all of the text copy layers and go to Layer, Arrange, Reverse. This will place the last copy layer at the bottom and bring the first to the top. Now deselect the first and last layers and then place the remaining selected layers in a group and call it Extrusion. Rename the text copy layer to text front and the text copy 12 layer to text back. Duplicate the text front layer and change this copy's fill value to 0 and then duplicate it. Double-click the text copy 2 layer and apply the following layer style. Let's add a bevel and emboss with these settings. Size should be 0, soften should be 0, and make sure you're using global light with 120 degrees angle and an altitude of 30 degrees. Now let's add a drop shadow with these settings. Make sure your blend mode is set to multiply with an opacity of 7%. Distance should be 3. Spread should be 0, and size should be 2. Now right-click this styled layer and choose Copy Layer Style. Select the rest of the extrusion layers, right-click, and choose Paste Layer Style. Now we're going to duplicate the extrusion group, drag the copy to place it on top of the text front copy 2 layer, and change its fill value to 0. Double-click the text front layer and apply this layer style. Let's add a bevel and emboss. Change the style to inner bevel. Technique should be smooth. The depth should be 100%. Direction should be up. The size should be 3. Change your gloss contour to this one. The highlight mode should be screen with an opacity of 50%, and the shadow mode should be multiply with an opacity of 15%. Now let's add a contour. Make sure you select Cove Deep. The range should be 100%. Now let's add a stroke. The size should be 1. Blend mode should be screen, opacity 100%, and now we will add a gradient. The first color should be 0E, 0E, 0E. The next color is 656, 05A. The next one is FE, FE, FE. After that, we're going to do 6F7376. Next color is 3C, 3D, 3F. The next color is FBF, 7F8. The next color is 292826. The next color is 080806. The next color is 6A6965. And the last color is 110D0A. Now let's add an inner shadow. Change the blend mode to multiply with an opacity of 35%. The distance should be 9. The choke should be 6. And the size should be 18. Now we will add an inner glow. Change the blend mode to linear light. Opacity is 100%, and the color is D1CC90. Change the source to edge. Choke should be 0. Size should be 90. And for the contour, adjust it so that it is similar to what I am doing on video. Now we will add an outer glow. Change the blend mode to screen. Opacity should be 100%, and the gradient will be the following. The first color is 423F3A. The next color is F5, F4, F0. The next color is 666259. The next color is AAA 387. Next color is 696357. The color after that will be 9F9687. The next color is 60625D. And the final color will be AFA58C. Make sure the technique is set to softer. The spread is 28. The size is 10. And the contour is set to Cove. Now let's add a drop shadow. Change the blend mode to multiply with an opacity of 7%. Distance should be 3. And the size should be 2. Double-click the text front copy layer and apply the following layer style. Let's add a bevel and emboss. The depth should be 100, direction up, size should be 10, and soften should be 0. Make sure the angle is set to 138 and the altitude is set to 21. The gloss contour should be Cove. Now let's add a contour. Make sure that you select Cove and that the range is 100%. Now let's add a stroke. Now your gradient should automatically pop up or be the default of what we used last time. Now double-click the text front copy to layer and apply the following layer style. The technique should be chisel hard. The size should be 10. Make sure you uncheck the use global light box. The angle should be 110 with an altitude of 26. The gloss contour should be cone. You may have to adjust this slightly. And the highlight mode should be screen with an opacity of 50%, and shadow should be multiplied with an opacity of 15%. Now we will add a contour. Now here, adjust your contour so that it looks similar to what I am doing on screen. Now copy and paste the text front layer's layer style to the text back layer. And then double-click the text back layer to adjust the following settings. For bevel and emboss, change the size to 6. For contour, change the cone to inverted. And for drop shadow, change the opacity to 70%, the distance to 20, and the size to 50. Now double-click the extrusion group and apply a gradient overlay. The blend mode should be multiply. The first color will be 0C, 0B, 0C. The next color will be 383, 693. F8, F4, E8. For the next color, 38, 36, 39. And the final color will be 0C, 0B, 0C. Now double-click the extrusion copy group, apply an outer glow effect with these settings. The blend mode should be linear light. Opacity should be 35. And the color we are using is A9F6FF. The size should be 27. And the contour should be ring, and change the range to 75%. Group all of the visible text copy layers and extrusion groups you have and call the group Text Effect. Now double-click the Text Effect group and apply an outer glow effect with these settings. Change the blend mode to screen. Opacity should be 50%, and the color we are using is 399DA7. And the size should be 150. Now open up your ice layer and make sure it covers your entire background. Then change this layer to linear burn and the opacity should be 15%. Now let's add a gradient. Now for our gradient fill, we will use the color 433469. The next color will be 5E6474. And the last color will be D4B28A. Change this layer's blend mode to color with an opacity of 15%. Go ahead and duplicate this gradient map again, but we're going to change this layer to soft light with an opacity of 50%. And that's how you make a 3D glowing text effect in Photoshop. So if you like this video and you would like to see more, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to click the little bell icon to be notified of any new videos. I'm Ashley Harrell. Thanks for watching.